Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Shalom Islam to all the Moors. All right. So let's begin. Welcome to the free astrotheology course. This is the astrology of the Old Testament, or the lost word regained. So published in 1857, and the author is Carl Anderson. So let's go ahead and get started. I just want to bring to your attention, to remind you, and I'll do this as often as I can, the lost word at the first level of analysis, the lost word in this case has to do with tracing back dogmatic religious belief systems to astrology and mythology. So it traces back to astrology, which is where you get astrotheology, and then the astrotheology traces back to the mythology, and then the mythology traces back to the teaching tools, the allegorical stories, metaphors, similes, etc., deities, etc., that our ancestors crafted stories and used as teaching tools to convey from generation to generation the Hermetic laws and the physical universe which they govern, the natural phenomena. Okay, is that clear? So this lost word traces back to the Great Mother, who is also Hathor, who is also the Great Mother Nature, the Celestial Ship of the North, the Thigh, the Great Bear, and so many other terms. Okay? Now, the Great Mother was remixed. Now remember, we're talking about celestial things and the Hermetic laws. And we're talking, by celestial things, I mean stars and constellations. Okay, and the Hermetic laws are the underlying laws or principles that govern the physical universe, that govern consciousness. Okay, specifically, the natural law governing consciousness is do no harm to yourself or others. Don't injure yourself or others. Okay, either now or start, or either directly or indirectly. Okay, or either something that will lead to an injury or harm in the future. That's the essence of the natural law governing man, intelligent man. So I often wonder, because the hybrid, the Han-Uman, the human, by law, is a monster. The human is non-descendable. Its father being the chimpanzee is a lesser intelligence. So I often wonder, is the threshold of the law lower for the hybrid? Because clearly the intelligence is not the same. Two different, I guess, vibrations or levels of intelligence. And that should be obvious, right? That should not be offensive to anyone. But anyway, the lost word regained. So the lost word, the original word of God, the mother of God, is the Great Mother, who is called Hathor, who is the ship of life and the celestial ship of the North. This is the lost word regained. Let me say it differently. This is occult knowledge. This is hidden knowledge. Okay, the lost word regained. So we're tracing it back to the beginning. Tracing it back to the beginning. The lost word regained. So this lost word, scholars, Moors, this lost word is the mindset of our ancient foremothers and forefathers. The mindset of our ancient foremothers and forefathers regained. Regained. I hope everyone sees that. So our ancestors reckon time. We reckon time by the Great Bear or the circumpolar zodiac or cycles of time, okay? Circle 7, life. Actually, one of the meanings of 7 is life. I got that out of volume 2 of the Celestial Ship of the North. So life, energy cannot be created or destroyed. It can only transform. It can only be transformed, right? Systems go from complexity to less complexity. Not the reverse. Not the reverse. There's no place for evolution in real science. In real science, evolution is a doctrine, is a religious doctrine. It doesn't stand up when you examine it based upon scientific principles. Okay, so the lost word regained. This is circle 7. Okay, life in the north. Okay, the north is Mount Zion Law School, Mount Zion, Meru, Moors, Meru. The Big Dipper contains a star, which is the celestial ship of which is the heavenly Jerusalem, or celestial, not Jerusalem, I'm sorry, the Egypt above, Mitzar, and the Israelites called that, or the house of Yasharallah called that Mitzrayim, okay? So we can trace that also, or we can throw in the pot the Maserat and the Zoad. And then there's Egypt or Kemet, Mitzrayim on planet Earth. Okay, so circle 7, the 7 constellations in the celestial north as they revolve around the pole star. Okay, so this is why the Great Mother is called the Mother of Revolutions, the Mother of Cycles of Time. This is how we reckon time. Now remember, we're talking about the lost word regain. Talking about time and the perception of time and reality and how you manage time. Okay, and what reality is. Okay, now you can look at this along with Mark chapter 4 verse 12, where JC, the Christ figure, says bluntly that he speaks to the people in parables, which are riddles that no one can understand unless he told them. So that although having eyes to see, they would not perceive. Okay, in other words, they would see something that's not there. Their eyes might see a cow or a bear, and they're going to see a mouse or a rat or an eagle. Can you imagine how debilitating that is? What you perceive, what your eyes take in is different from what your mind perceives. Although having ears to hear, they will never understand. That's why he spoke to the people in parables. To confuse them, to keep the truth from them. Now, I didn't say it. You go read Mark 4 verse 12. Read it yourself. Read it in multiple Bible verses, go to Bible Hub. Go to the Bible Hub. Google search Mark chapter 4, verse 12, Bible Hub, and look at the verse in the many different translations. And JC goes as far as to tell you why. His purpose, the result, the outcome he was trying to achieve is to prevent the people from perceiving and understanding so that they could not repent. So that they could not repent. This is completely different of what's taught in the churches. The preacher, the pastor, the imam, the moray, the captain, the general, they're all going to tell you that Jesus wants you to repent. But that's not what Jesus said out of his own mouth. He said, because if they did perceive, if they did understand, they'd have a chance to repent, or they might repent and be saved. So his outcome is for you to be unrepentant, and as a result of you being unrepentant, in the condition of breaking the Most High's commandments, you would be in the curses. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 15 through 68. You would be in the curses. Loss of nationality, loss of heritage, loss of everything. Loss of your birthright. That means a stateless person, a debtor. Okay? You would be inflicted with chronic illnesses. I teach this in my Saturday class all the time. It's very obvious. You would be harassed by your enemies through public policy and their judicial system. You'd be harassed, okay? Black codes, Jim Crow, Children and Family Services, so on and so forth. Okay? This is what's happening in the solar zodiac projection and all of the solar religions. All of these people, these governments in the West, they are Christians. Christianity is a political power. If you don't believe me, go read the Treaty of Peace and Friendship between the Moroccan Empire and the foreign United States of America. 1836, go read it. It's going to tell you, it's going to say Christian powers. And by the way, I just couldn't wait to say this. I was thinking about this morning. These pharaohs. Okay, so let me go back. Let me. How do I want to start this? So we're talking about the lost word regained. The lost word. The word of God, the mother of God, is Hathar. I'm not talking about flesh and blood. We're talking about celestially, and the stories our ancestors created to teach the Hermetic Laws and to teach nature and natural phenomena and natural law. Hathar, of course, is the Hermetic law of gender, performing its function of birthing and transforming energy, consciousness from one form to another. Okay, so our ancestors had a deeply held knowing that they were eternal, that they are eternal, that there is no such thing as death. From the physical body, they are transformed into another form. Still alive, still consciousness. Still conscious, rather. Still aware, alert, Everything, everything, everything. Okay, circle 7. Okay. Hathor has a son, her first son, Sut, S-U-T. The first son formed. And we're dealing with the Hermetic Laws. Okay? The first son formed. So what is this telling us? Sut, S-U-T, is not physical. It's not physical. We're dealing with the Hermetic Laws, and we're dealing with constellations. Now, Sut is Sirius, the constellation Sirius in the south, the dog star. This constellation is predominantly composed of masculine mental energy or masculine mental gender, masculine gender. Okay? Not vagina and penis sex organs. Okay, we're dealing with energy, we're dealing with constellations. Is it clear? So that's the firstborn son. Okay? Keep that in mind. Let's flip over to page 182, which is where we will begin. Okay. I had my finger on it. Hold on. I'm sorry. Let's begin on the last page, the last paragraph of page 183. The S-U-N, sun. So you should remember the S-U-N, sun, is Sut. Will remix into Sut in the solar zodiac projection. So in fact, let's review that. So initially, the mindset of our ancient foremothers and forefathers was, and the right mindset of our ancient foremothers and forefathers is to reckon time by the stars. Period. For an uncountable number of years, millions or even billions of years, we reckon time by the stars. Period. The North Celestial Pole region. Period. The Great Bear, celestial ship of the North. That deteriorated. They began to change. This is more recent times. Okay, more recent times. And they started reckoning time by the moon. By the moon. Okay, by the moon and the stars, rather. By the moon and the stars. And then it collapsed. In other words, the morality, the character of groups of our people collapsed. It's my opinion that this has to do with Yakub. It collapsed into a total shift, a total disrespect and disregard, and flipping the finger to the mindset of our ancient foremothers and forefathers, and a changing of how we reckon time. Okay, from the stars, which later declined, deteriorated, they fell away, deteriorated to reckoning time by the stars and the moon, to ultimately reckoning time by the sun. The S-U-N, sun. When you look up in the sky, you see the orb, S-U-N, sun, reckoning time by the sun, which is a completely different mindset. It has nothing to do with the celestial ship of the North. And that shift was brought in through violence. I'm going somewhere. It was brought in through violence, through intimidation, manipulation, public policy. Okay, public policy against injuring, harming, those of our ancestors who still reckon time by the stars. Okay, and they stole property. Okay, they degraded and disgraced those of us who continue to reckon time by the celestial ship of the north. In other words, those of us who continue to be in our right mind, honoring our ancient foremothers and forefathers. Okay? Now, the solar zodiac projection was ushered in, as we learned, and we went over this in the last class, and I think the class before that. Allegedly, if you believe the chronology, around 4000 BCE, if you believe that, this is when the Osirians, followers of Osiris, Isis, and Horus, made the mythology, which traces back to the stories, the allegorical stories that our ancestors created to teach the Hermetic laws and physical phenomena or natural phenomena. They made these into histories. This is Jeremiah 8, verse 8. They changed the book of the law into a book of religion. I'm paraphrasing. Does everyone see that? So in doing that, they made Sut, S-U-T, Hathor's firstborn son. They made Sut, they changed the name into Sebek Ra. Ra is the sun, god of the sun. Everyone see that? Everyone see it? And then they made Virgo the Great Mother. They remixed Virgo into the Great Mother. Virgo traces back to the Great Mother. Well, guess what? So does Venus trace back to the Great Mother. So does Pisces trace back to the Great Mother. Pisces, the two fish. The two fish. One secretly, one is the Great Mother. One of those fish is the Great Mother, connected by a rope to her son Sut. And that's coming out of the celestial ship of the north. I don't remember if it's volume 1 or volume 2. So we're tracing this back. Okay, we're tracing it back, reverse engineering the solar zodiac projection. Because all they did was plagiarize, copy the celestial ship of the north. And then they hid it, or now it's considered occult knowledge. So everything that was good and positive, or let's rephrase it, the so-called gods, okay, these allegorical stories, these deities that our ancestors created to use as teaching tools, they became devils and demons, or they were remixed into devils and demons in the solar zodiac projection. So this is where we are. So keep in mind, Venus traces back to the Great Mother, the celestial ship of the north. Virgo traces back to the Great Mother, the celestial ship of the north. Okay? All right? So let's look at this. Let's get into it. Page 183, the last paragraph. You know what, y'all, let me check to make sure we have a connection, okay? Make sure y'all can hear me. Mic check, mic check. Mic check, mic check. All right, we're good. So if you hate me, don't share the video. If you have no self-respect, no dignity, no desire to improve your life and the life of your heirs, no desire to take back your birthright, don't share the video, don't like the video. Keep doing what you're doing. Okay? Let's just be honest about it, because that is what you're saying if you don't. Okay? But if you do love yourself and have self-respect, if you don't hate me and you want to support the work that I'm doing, like and share the video. Do those things that demonstrate that. That's pretty cool. Let me show y'all. Hold on. Hold on, y'all. How to do it? Let me see. Oh, here it is. No. I don't know how to work it. I want to show y'all what the little boy is doing. I don't know how to do it. I wanted to change the camera direction, but I didn't do it right. I thought it's just this button. Oh, here it is. Where is he? He's got this little tank. Y'all see the little boy? He's got a little tank, a remote control tank. You know, children can make you feel good. Y'all see they got Christmas in Vietnam? Hi there. Can I see? Wow. Put it on the floor. Let me see it. Can I show it? Look at this, guys. Wow. How about that? That's really cool, man. It has a big gun, too, huh? Where's your mommy and daddy? Where are your parents? Okay, good. Let's see you make it go. Let's see you make it go. Wow, that's amazing. That's so cool. So y'all see they have Christmas in Vietnam. Unfortunately, too bad for them. Okay, I have to go back to work. All right, y'all. Let me get back to work here. Hold on. Let me try to get the camera back. I can do it. All right, there we are. Cute little boy. All right, y'all. So let's make it do what it do. Page 183. So the Escheat sun has the second face of Aries. So we already know that Aries is Sevic Ra. Aries is Sevic Ra. Okay? Sevic Ra traces back to Sevic Cronus, which is the second remix, or which is a remix of Sut. Sevic Cronus. Cronus means time, chronology. Sevic Cronus traces back to Sut, S-U-T, the great mother's son. Everybody see that? So Sevic Cronus was given horns. Okay, he was given horns. Why? Because right ascension meridian spells ram. So under the solar zodiac projection, this is celestially the first man. The first man. As you should recall, we covered that in yesterday's class. Celestially, this is the first man. Okay, it is the face of nobleness. Obvious, because Sut, S-U-T, Sut is noble, of noble birth. A supreme being, right? So Aries is the face of nobleness, might, majesty, power, renown, and authority. Now remember, we're dealing with Sevic Ra, but according to the House of Yasharala, should I go back and do all of this? I think this is important enough. Let me see if I can find the page here. According to the House of Yasharala, Sevic Ra. Hold on, y'all. So on page 38 of The Celestial Ship of the North by Ellen Valencia Stratton, Volume 1, it says this. Sevic Ra was the solar form of Sut, S-U-T, the star god, of course. This is the southern celestial pole region. This is Sirius the dog star, which is the hour hand of the clock of destiny. Sevic Ra was the solar form of Sut, the star god. His shrine was at Ambos, and he was an older form of Seb Cronus, of Seb time, and earlier identified with Sut, S-U-T. Y'all got it? Because of the changing of time. It was not because of the changing of time. It didn't happen naturally. No. It happened through warfare, through violence, through public policy or bills of attainder against a specific group of people. The Sabian Moors, who kept the mindset of their ancient foremothers and forefathers, which was reckoning time by the stars in the north. Okay, or clock of destiny. The minute hand, the Great Bear in the north, and the hour hand in the south, which is Sut, or Sirius the dog star. Okay, and our ancestors drew a boundary, a circular boundary around that which is boundless. Space is boundless. Space is the celestial abyss. Okay, and in the north we have circle 7. All right, those 7 constellations in the northern celestial region revolving around the pole star. Okay, so this didn't happen naturally. This is unnatural. It was done by the Osirians. This changing of time was actually a changing of the mindset, a changing of how time is reckoned. Y'all see that? Through violence. Okay? So because of the changing of time, he manifested as the sun god. No, he did not manifest as the sun god. The story was edited. The story was changed. It was remixed. They remixed Sut into a sun god. That's what happened. So we have to pay attention to the details, scholars, as we read, okay? Because remember, when we write, this is casting spells. Writing is casting spells. If you don't understand first, if you don't have the vocabulary. 2, if you don't know how words are constructed, word morphology. You don't know how the words are constructed. If you don't know etymology, if you don't know grammar, you are in big trouble. You're in big trouble. See, this is why you can go to school and learn whatever they're going to teach you. And it's deficient. And a sentence can have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 meanings. depending on your level of knowledge about how sentences are formed. For example, syntax, grammar, word morphology, prefixes, suffixes, infixes. Okay, that's going to determine your level of comprehension. Okay, you can have great reading comprehension, but if you don't know anything about etymology, you don't get that meaning. It's not for you. So if you want to learn these skills, come to Zion Law School. Okay, come to class and I will teach you. Okay, so reach out to me, yasapa@zionlawschool.org, or put your email in the comment section, put your WhatsApp phone number in the comment section, whatever, and we can connect, and you can start to get a true, valuable education, okay, at Zion Law School. Now let's continue, y'all. Because of the changing of time, he manifested as the sun god. Soot manifested as the sun god. No, Soot was remixed into a sun god. Okay? Which is a different framework or a different mindset. Keeping time according to the sun. All right? So the sun god becomes the lamb of sacrifice. Jesus, a JC the Christ figure, becomes the lamb, right? The sacrificial lamb at the approach of the Piscean manifestation. Now again, the Piscean manifestation, this is the zodiacal age of Pisces, the two fish. One of the fish, of course, is the Great Mother. The other fish is Soot. And they're connected by a rope. Her firstborn son. Sebek Ra can also be seen wearing the head of a ram on an erect serpent. We went through that already. It became a type of Shu, S-H-U, who in his ancient character is also seen with two horns. See, these two horns, when you study this out, these two horns represents rulership. So in other words, a coup had taken place. The change from the original mindset of our ancient foremothers and forefathers to the mindset or reckoning time by the sun. This is actually a coup, change in rulership. Okay, and this change in rulership involved having pharaohs, kings, and eventually descended into dynasties. And the point I was making earlier is that this didn't happen, in my opinion. This didn't happen 6,000 years ago. This happened more like 400 or 500 years ago. They just changed the dates. Okay? So this outcasting, this disgrace, let me show y'all. Outcasting the Great Mother, hold on, y'all. I want to use the exact words that are given to us in the book. If I can find it. Yeah, this outcasting, this is page 24. This outcasting and condemnation of the Great Mother Typhoon. Okay, so obviously that would that's referencing those Sabian Moors, our ancestors who maintained the mindset of their ancient foremothers and forefathers. Hold on, y'all. I forgot my point. I forgot my point. Anyway. Okay. So yeah. So this was a coup d'état. All right, which descended into a centralization and concentration of power in governments. Okay. So my point is, this centralized government back then was the pharaohs, the kings, and the kingships that were created, okay, that were forced on the people, and the people were robbed of their birthright, okay? So in my opinion, what's happening here, in fact, my opinion, is that the kingship was separated from the governance, from the political, let's call it the political system, and the kingship, the pharaohship, if you will, was separated maybe 400 or 500 years ago, somewhere around there. And that's called the Catholic Church. That's called the Catholic Church. Why would they do it? To hide what happened. To hide their hand. Do y'all see it? So, I think that's what happened. So this outcasting and condemnation, this would be the Inquisition. This would be the Inquisition and colonization. That's my opinion. Why am I so sure about it? Well, I guess the elephant in the room is, how is it that they have all of these Kemetic or Egyptian documents that they claim are thousands of years old? I'm not a fool. Biological material, let's say papyri, it's not going to last thousands of years. And you have no way to prove it. Right? I need to believe you. I need to trust you. To me, that's just totally insane to believe that, especially coming from publicly known liars, people who are obsessed with power and control, and killing others. People who are master manipulators, people who use the great law of gender, specifically the cuckoo. So you go back to the Hermetic Laws and study gender and study the cuckoo bird and its egg. You study that. People who use psychology, or people who use natural law against to injure and to harm others and to concentrate power to themselves. Why would I believe you and I know this? I would be a complete idiot. That's why I appreciate the Reverend Robert Taylor so much in his book, The Devil's Pulpit, because he comes right out and tells the Christians that they are idiots. And he's not doing it in a disrespectful way. He's doing it to try to get your attention so that you will start to look at these things differently. And I agree with him. You're an idiot if you believe anything that they say. All right? So that's my opinion. This is explaining what happened to us. We talk about the fall of the Moors, or the fall of the Israelites. Y'all throw away all of the chronology, throw away all of that BS. The pharaonic kingship, or the seat of the pharaohs, is the Catholic Church. Period. Okay? And it's our ancestors who did this. Our ancestors who did it, at least the hybrids. the hybrids and those, let's call them dirty Moors, who assisted. Hi. Oh, it's a beautiful Christmas tree. Do you like it? Yeah, I like it too. There's so many lights. What do you call the lights and the balls? What are they called? Come back. Come back. What are they called? What's the name of that? Say decoration. Decorations.
Decoration.
Decorations.
Decorations.
Excellent. Christmas.
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 Decoration.
Decoration.
Christmas lights.
Christmas light.
Excellent. Very good. Good job. Okay, so let's get back to it, y'all. Let's get back to it. So where are we? Oh, let's go back to, so I think I'm done with this. I don't remember what else I may have wanted to say about it. So let's continue tracing back or reverse engineering the solar zodiac projection. So the SUN sun has the second face of Aries. It is the face of nobleness, might, majesty, power, renown, authority. Right? These are all characteristics of JC, the Christ figure, which traces back to Sut, S-U-T. In this face is the SUN sun's exaltation, right? Why? Because 12 hours of daylight, 12 hours of night, which happens around March 22nd of every year. This is JC. This is the SUN sun entering into the kingdom of God. Okay. JC sitting on his throne, the Lamb of God. So the number of daylight hours will increase. So 12 and 12, equality, equity, remixed into justice. So now 13 hours of daylight, 14 hours of daylight, 15 hours of daylight, 16 hours of daylight, 17 hours of daylight. The sun is dominating. Okay? The sun is dominating. Is it clear? And then after the summer solstice, June 22nd through the 25th, the sun begins to decline in altitude until it eventually will cross below the autumn or fall equinoctial point, which is the fall equinox. And now the sun, the SUN sun, is crucified because it crosses below the celestial equator. Does everyone understand that? Now at this point, this is the fall of man. Celestially, this is representing the fall of man. Okay, y'all? So anyway, let's get back to it. Venus has the third face. So Venus traces back to the great mother Hathor, Typhoon, the great mother Typhoon. So Venus has the third face. Isn't 3 interesting? I think, if I remember correctly, 3 is the first feminine number. I don't remember for sure, but it'll come to me. So Venus is also green, right? Venus is green, representing new life, vegetation, right? Photosynthesis. Okay, photosynthesis, the production of oxygen in the environment that supports life. So Venus is only seen as a crescent from Earth. Venus is only seen as a crescent from Earth. Okay, so the crescent and star, initially we learned that the crescent is a crescent moon, and then the star is the sun. But later, if you study it more, you'll come to learn that the crescent moon is actually crescent Venus, and the star is the pole star. And this is the crescent moon. Let me show you. I posted a few posts in the community section on the community page rather, on YouTube at Zion Law School. Let me show you. The community page, yeah. So if you turn the crescent Venus over like this, you see the celestial ship of the north. Do y'all see that? And the star in the middle, this is the pole star. Okay, do y'all see it? This is the pole star. Notice that he's wearing green. The Great Mother Soot. Y'all see he's and new life. Okay, one of the functions of the Great Mother. Everyone see that? If you shift the picture this way, let's shift it this way. This is what we're used to seeing, right? So let me just show you. So here you see it again. Uh-oh, hold on. So here you see it again. Okay? So it's crescent Venus. If you don't know what you're looking at, it's the crescent moon. Do y'all see the Great Bear? Today called the Big Dipper. You're looking at the north circumpolar region, the celestial North Pole. So if you shift it this way, there you are. Uh-oh, hold on. So now when you look at it this way, you're looking at the celestial ship of the north. Do y'all see the Big Dipper? The 5 stars at the bottom, the 2 stars at the top, that's the Big Dipper. That's the Great Bear. Everybody see that? Okay, this is the celestial North Pole. This is the celestial North Pole. Hold on, y'all. All right. These are the revolutions. This is actually circle 7. This is the place of beginnings. All right, births, rebirths, transformation. Right in the center, that's the all-seeing eye. Okay, that's the real, original all-seeing eye. Everyone see that? That's the pole star in the middle. And then relative to the Earth's axis. So we're dealing with Venus, y'all. We're dealing with Venus. So be patient. Now here's the Big Dipper. Here's the Big Dipper that we saw on Farrakhan's. This is the Big Dipper and the Little Dipper, the Great Bear and the Little Bear, and the Lesser Bear. All right, y'all? Here's another version. These are some of the constellations in the North Celestial Pole region. Okay? So if you know what you're looking at, when you see, when you look at those fezzes that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad wore and that Farrakhan wore, you'll clearly see the Great Bear, today called the Big Dipper. All right? The Great Bear and the Lesser Bear. You see the Big Dipper in there and the Lesser Dipper in there. Okay? So let me just pull up a picture of the celestial ship of the north. Hold on. Oh, here's the great bear on Elijah Muhammad's hat. That should be very clear, right? See the 5 stars at the bottom? The handle, the Big Dipper, 2 stars at the top, the celestial ship of the north. Okay, you see the pole star? All right, you see how they hid that right in front of your face? And you've probably been looking at this your whole life. I know I did and I never knew it. One more again. Now I'm going to show y'all the celestial ship of the north now, okay? You see how they hide this right in front of your face? The Great Mother, he's wearing green. Venus is green. Venus traces back to the Great Mother, okay, who gives us vegetation. You just have to ask yourself, why do they hide this from you, you know? Because they don't want you to know anything about. There's the Great Mother, but there's the celestial ship of the north. There's the star in the middle. Do y'all see it? This is the image that they both have on their fez. All right, y'all see that? See, although having eyes to see, you will never perceive the symbols, okay, or comprehend the text that you're reading. Is it clear? So let's go back to it. So Venus has a third face, or from 20 to 30 degrees, which is full of joy, mercy, mild, effeminate, full of sport and play. Venus receives detriment in this sign. Now, there is no way that there can be anything negative about natural laws or the movement of planetary bodies or the electromagnetic energy. However that might work out. There just can be nothing negative about that. Now, can its impact be perceived by you or me as negative? Absolutely. But in itself, no. No. So let's continue. For it is lustful. Venus receives detriment in Aries, for it is lustful. So there's something disgraceful that they edited in, right? Because there's nothing lustful about the Great Mother. Saturn, Satan, falls in this sign. Well, who is Saturn? Who is Saturn? As we discussed in a previous class, Saturn, I forgot to show y'all that. Saturn, according to the Hebrews, Saturn, according to the Israelites, is Sevek Ra. Sevek Ra is the Negro. Of course, the Negro is a brand for Moors. Genesis chapter 2, verse 7, Moors. Again, Sevek Ra, according to the Hebrews, are Moors, are Negroes. Who is Sevek Ra? Set, the firstborn son. Who is man? Where does man have his origin? The Prophet Noble Drew Ali tells us man is thought made manifest. Well, thought is a function of the mind. the Hermetic Law of Mentalism. Okay? Being formed with masculine mental energy, or with a predominance of masculine mental energy. Man is thought. I'm talking about man, masculine man, not feminine man. Made manifest from the soil. And of course, there's man with a womb and man without a womb. The man without a womb is predominantly feminine mental energy, or feminine mental gender, rather. Okay, y'all? So here, when we understand, when we comprehend the text, we comprehend what we are reading, we understand exactly who we are. Why Noble Drew Ali said, study yourself, and when you get finished, I'm paraphrasing, and when you get finished, study yourself some more. Until you know who you are. So let me find that. But it's already in, I think I showed it in the class yesterday, and the class before this, and the class before that. So let me take a look just for a minute, see if I can find it. Wow, I just realized something. Okay, let's I might jump around a little bit, but page 20, The Celestial Ship of the North, Volume 1, page 20. As she, that's Typhoon, the great mother, who is Hathor, the Thigh, the great bear, as she was goddess of time, they called her child Seb Cronus. Seb Cronus, a second condition of time. Did y'all get that? A second condition of time. Cronus, time. As Sut, S-U-T, he was the first announcer of time. But as Seb Cronus, he became a repeater of time in dual aspect called the S-U-N Sun and Sirius or Saturn. The earliest type of Sirius was not the dog star, but an inner African giraffe. So y'all take a look at this. This is page 20. All of this is tracing back to the mindset of our ancient foremothers and forefathers, which is reckoning time by the stars, or stellar reckoning of time, which is the celestial ship of the north. Y'all see that? So the S-U-N Sun is Soot, remixed to Soot. Obviously, right? Because JC is the son of God. Pause it on the replay so y'all can read it. All right? But let's keep it going. Okay, next paragraph. Sut, S-U-T, as the first child of the mother of time, this is Typhoon, Hathor, was called Seb, S-E-B, Seb or Sebic Cronus. Was named the dragon. So Sut, Seb, Sebic Cronus was named the dragon of the 7 stars of the Lesser Bear. Y'all see this? Which is Ursa Minor. The manifester of the 7 which encircle the pole with her. Her again references the mother of time, who is Typhoon, who is Hathor. When forming the first primary circle, this is the beginning of time. You must remember that time is a mental construct. Our ancestors created time when they created a boundary around that which was boundless, which is space, the celestial abyss. The hour hand in the north, which is the Great Bear, today called the Big Dipper, and Sirius, the Dog Star, in the south celestial pole region, or Sevik Ra, which is, let me rephrase that, which is Seb, which was remixed in, which is Sut, first Sut, which was remixed into Seb, S-E-B, which was further remixed into Sevik Cronus, time. Y'all see it? Records and cycles of time had depended upon these star returners. Records and cycles of time. This is the mindset of our ancient foremothers and forefathers. Records and cycles of time. Well, records, what? Records, public records. Isn't that government? Don't we need to... I'm jumping into civics now. Come on. Come on. So this is why, do y'all see it? We need to put things on the public record. On the public record. So records and cycles of time depended on these star returners. Is it clear? Thank you. Records and cycles of time. Oh, records depend on, come on. So records, celestial. How about that? You know what? Let's look up records. Now keep in mind, the all-seeing eye is in the north. All-seeing means it sees everything, and we're talking about records, public record. So public record, noun, a record required by law to be made and kept. A record may be by a public officer or a government agency in the course of the performance of a duty. A record filed. B, a record filed in a public office. Let's see what else it has here. You know, one of the downsides of these electronic dictionaries is that they're not complete. record, noun. A written account of some act, transaction, or instrument drawn up under authority of law. So we're dealing with what, y'all? Natural law, right? And common law, not statutes, etc. By a proper officer and designated to remain as a memorial or permanent evidence of the matters to which it relates. There are three kinds of records. Judicial, as in attainder, wow. 2, ministerial, on oath, being in office, or inquisition found. 3, by way of conveyance, as a deed enrolled. Wharton, period, in practice. A written memorial of all acts and proceedings in an action or suit in a court of record. So this is saying that all of our ancestors past was recorded. I wonder if this is talking about also the Akashic records, y'all. But anyway, let's keep it going. And if these records are recorded in the DNA, in our DNA too. But definitely for sure, how can I say it? Man, years ago I used to talk about this. How did I explain it? If you can imagine a database of everything that has ever happened, and then you having access to it, if you're vibrating in harmony with the universe, you have access to that record. It comes to you as intuition or flashes of insight. The record is the official and authentic history of the cause, consisting in entries of each successive step in the proceeding, chronicling the various acts of the parties and of the court. And of course, we are the court, right? By lawful definition, we are the court. Literally, we are the court. It's not a physical building. Couched in the formal language established by usage. Couched in the formal language established by usage. So what language is this? This is consular jurisdiction and venue language. This is the Treaty of Peace and Friendship between the Moroccan Empire and the foreign United States for America. 1836. That's what this is talking about in terms of us right now and what our ancestors provided for us, right? Consular court, consular jurisdiction. So couched in the formal language, so you cannot escape the language. You cannot escape the language. Established by usage, terminating with the judgment rendered in the cause. So of course, judgments for the Moors, the proper venue for the Moors, the one to issue the judgment is the Moor through consular jurisdiction and venue, or if you have to do it yourself through the reserved rights of the people. The people are the Moors. As clearly stated in the preamble of the Constitution, okay, both constitutions, it's clearly stated, we the people, right? A corporate citizen is not a people. And people is both singular and plural. It's one of the few words that are both singular and plural. Okay, so the record, it continues, and the record is intended to remain as perpetual and unimpeachable memorial of the proceedings and judgment. At common law, quote unquote, record signifies a roll of parchment upon which the proceeding and transactions of a court are entered or drawn up by its officers. See how this is written in the celestial record, right? And which is then posited in its treasury and perpetuum memoriam, and then it cites a case. A court of record is that where the facts and judicial proceedings are enrolled in parchment for a perpetual memory or memorial and testimony, which rolls are called, quote unquote, the records of the court, and are of such high and supereminent authority that their truth is not to be called into question. Hope y'all can see this. I'm seeing the reflection on my screen, but hold on. Let me show the case citations. So here are the citations. But you should look this up in your Blacks or Bouvier Law Dictionary, because this is, of course, just a summary. There's probably a lot more to this than what we're showing, than what I'm showing right now. Okay, because it's just an electronic version, which is not complete. All right, so pause it on the replay. Okay, one moment, let me just get... Okay, y'all. So I like the way they put this. A court of record is that where the acts and judicial proceedings are enrolled in parchment for a perpetual memorial and testimony, which rolls are called the quote-unquote records of the court, and are of such high and supereminent authority that their truth is not to be called into question. Okay, y'all? So we see what our ancestors did for us by including the consul and consular jurisdiction in the treaty that I mentioned earlier, right? Does everyone see that? How brilliant and caring our ancestors were? How thoughtful they were? how connected they were, connected to nature, how they applied the natural law, don't harm anyone. So if had they not have done that, we would look at the harm that we are enduring as a people now. Look at the denationalized Moors. Look at the blacks, the Indians. Look at the harm they have to suffer. Okay, so our ancestors acted in harmony with natural law. Do no harm, don't injure anyone, including yourself. And we are, in fact, our ancestors. Okay? So this is a very good example of natural law in the treaty that we just talked about. Okay? So let's go back to it. Records and cycles of time depended upon these starry turners. Now, I just got the thought. This would explain why they sought to change time. Because if you change the time, you can change the records. Y'all see it? You can disorient people in time. Everybody see that? Until they were found to be, quote unquote, unfaithful. In other words, the clock of destiny is no longer the clock of destiny because it's not keeping time properly, according to the Osirians, and according to the Solarites, right? Not keeping the true time. Again, that's an allegation made by the Osirians, made by the Osirians who were responsible for doing the coup d'etat. Sebek, who was the earlier Sut, in other words, Sut was remixed into this solar deity, this sun deity called Sebek by the Osirians, became the planet Saturn. That's my point. Sebek becomes the planet Saturn. Sut was remixed into Sebek. Sebek was remixed into the planet Saturn. And one of his names was Sut, S-U-T hyphen Nub, N-U-B. Nub means golden. Golden Sut as the golden sun. Do y'all see how this traces back to the celestial ship of the north? Right, you see how we can reverse engineer this? Understand the story? Okay? It's clear as day what the mindset of our ancient foremothers and forefathers was and is. Don't harm anyone, including yourself. Don't injure anyone, including yourself, and don't do anything that would cause future injury or harm. That's the law, the natural law governing consciousness, period. That's the essence of the Ten Commandments. Okay? And then, of course, Circle 7 and the Clock of Destiny. All right? In other words, a circumpolar zodiac projection, reckoning time by the stars, okay, which is the reality, okay? Records and cycles of time depended upon these starry turners. The 7 constellations in the northern celestial region of space. Period. This is the mindset of our ancient foremothers. It's so simple. When Sebek Ra became famous as the ruler of the Golden Age, Sebek Ra, Saturn, Sut, Nub, that's who he is. when he became famous as the ruler of the golden age of the Greeks. The golden age of the Greeks, and we know that the Greeks is just made up, right? They just made the Greeks up. So he became famous as the ruler. He was Christian. Interesting, he was Christian. Sut Nub. Okay? Savic Ra, Saturn, becomes or is Christian Sut Nub during the golden age of the Greeks. What is this telling us? This is what I think. This is what I think. And y'all might think I'm crazy. But when the hybrids took over and set up these governments, as I mentioned before, they extracted out of the institutions the seat of the pharaoh. In other words, the kingship. And then the governments remain. These are what they're referring to as Greece and Rome. Okay, these institutions of centralized power, they refer to as Greece and Rome. And the pharaonic dynasties, the seat of the pharaohs, this is the Catholic Church. And this happened only several hundred years ago. All right, y'all? So I hope no one gets stuck on my personal opinion. Usually I don't like to give my personal opinion. But in this case, maybe it will spark some conversation, and we can get some better insight, right? Maybe somebody out there has a better idea than me. At least we can start discussing it. Actually, it would be great, instead of discussing it, write something. Put the pen to the paper and write something. Create literature. Okay? And actually, that's even better, because if you create literature, if you write it, that's going to eliminate all the niggerism. Y'all know what I mean? By people coming out and talking SHIT about someone because of their viewpoint. You know, it descending into something that's very negative. Write literature. Do it properly. Write literature. And those people who are negative, jealous, envious, or trolls, they will very likely not want to write literature. David Way writes, Zion cursed the flesh. I have absolutely no idea what you mean by that. Can you clarify what you mean, David Way? So write literature, okay? Let's have a discussion. Put the literature together. Write the literature, all right? In fact, that should be right. That should become the norm. That should become the norm. I don't have the influence to get people to do that or to establish that, but that should become the norm. Don't say anything orally. Put the pen to paper, or make your keyboard sing. Okay, and then that way we can clean up these discussions and even clean up the way people perceive us. And eliminate the trolls, at least the vast majority of them. Because unfortunately, most of them probably can't even write a paragraph, to be honest, right? Okay, so let's keep it moving. Page 184. So Venus is detriment in Aries, for it is a lustful sign. Satan or Saturn Satan. This is who we just talked about. Oh, I forgot to show y'all who the Hebrews are. I mean, who the Negroes are according to Hebrews. Well, let me just tell you this: the Hebrews are Sabik Ra, are Sut. Who is the firstborn son. All right, y'all, just let me find it. Let me put it in the record. I'm close. Well, let me throw this in. Page 29. Egypt below, that's Egypt on earth. Landmass, bloodline of people, Genesis chapter 2, verse 7. But the landmass is the whole landmass, right? Was a replica of Egypt above. Egypt above, again, is Mitzar, that star in the Great Bear in the handle. Okay? Her myths and fables, founded on her astronomes, have been misunderstood by many interpreters, so torn to bits in attempts to make history out of myths, that their identity is at sometimes barely recognizable. Her truths, her ancient truths, trace back to their Sabian origins, and their verification in the quote-unquote Egypt that never dies. Now, I'm still looking for what we talked about. So just give me a second. I'm going to find it, but as I find information to support some of the statements that I made here, I'm going to show it to you. Okay? The constellation, this is page 30. The constellation of the Thigh, which we know as the Great Bear, was the primordial birthplace in the north, the original. So we're talking about millions, if not billions, an uncountable amount of time in terms of age. The primordial birthplace in the north, this is the Great Bear, which is also called the Thigh, the oldest known. And though mythological and type of the ancient mother typhoon, has become historical. The star Mitzar, which can be seen in the tail of the Great Bear, had been definitely identified as the Mitzrayim of celestial Egypt before it was given as a name to the land of Egypt in Africa, to the land of to the people, to the bloodline, okay, of the autochthonous Moors. I have to correct that. Thus, Mitzar, Mitzrayim, Mazaroth, and Masru, hi there, are the witnesses above. This is page 30. Yes. This is page 30.
What?
Where are your books? I always see you with toys, but I never see you with books.
Yeah.
Your books are there?
I don't have books.
You should bring books. If you bring books, you can sit with me at the table and read, okay? We can read together sometimes, okay?
Books.
Yes, books. Little boys need books. All right, scholars? Does everyone see that? There is a fragment, still on the same page, page 30. Next paragraph. There is a fragment of ancient lore given in the Hebrew scriptures which asserts that the line of Mizraim comes from Ham, who is Cam, Hamite, Camite, Egypt, Kemet, joined with Cush. Thus, Mizraim is the son of Ham, who is Cam, of the black race of the Moors, or the autochthonous Moors. There's no such thing as race. And the black race was the first on earth. So this is Genesis chapter 2, verse 7. The Moors are the first on earth. So if there are Moors, the first on earth, there's only the autochthonous Moors, the Sabian Moors, and the hybrids. This is what I've been saying all along. The divisions that have been set up in the book of the law between our people, different nations hating each other, enemies, that's all divide and conquer. That's Jeremiah 8:8. Divide and conquer strategies. The real issue are the hybrids stealing the birthright of the autochthonous Moors or the Sabian Moors. Period. That's it. But of course, we created this situation because of our consciousness. In other words, because of our lifestyle, injuring and harming others, living out of harmony with nature. Okay? And then the Hermetic law of cause and effect is activated, right? Every cause has an effect. Every effect has a cause. And of course, we have the power, the ability to manifest circumstances and situations. We create the reality that we live in at the level of a man or woman and at the level of a nation. And we manifested this reality. Okay, we manifested it, period. Deuteronomy 28, we manifested it. In other words, we can turn it around through living in harmony with natural law. Stop injuring and harming ourselves and others. And that consciousness will manifest itself in the blessings. Deuteronomy 28, 1 through 15, Deuteronomy 30, Deuteronomy chapter 30, the verse 16 or so verses. Everyone see that? We are in the power position. And this is what no one wants you to know. That's why they have you looking for an external deity, external God to do these things for you. Living your life based upon a belief system that's totally out of harmony with nature, which means that the Hermetic law of cause and effect will be activated against you. So you can harm people, and everybody knows that our people are good for this. They harm people, injure people, even their own heirs, their own parents, their own mother and father, sons and daughters, cousins, best friends. They harm people and justify it through their religious doctrine. Which means that the Hermetic law of cause and effect is activated against you to create a reality that serves you up punishments, which are really signals or communication to get your attention in a form of pain and suffering. All right? To get you to change. All right? So these are the Moors who are lying down in a dead state with their head in Aries, and their feet in Libra, who are civilly dead. Okay? In other words, nature and natural law, according to the curses, creates a reality that's against you. All right? That's against you, causes you pain and suffering. These are the curses, Deuteronomy 28, 15 through 68. Anyway, let's keep it moving. Mazzaroth, in its Sabian origin, meant the stars. Do y'all get that? Mazzaroth, in its Sabian origin, meant the stars. But it was remixed to mean what? In the solar zodiac projection, the Mazzaroth is that belt or wheel around which the zodiac constellations, those 12 constellations, are situated. Is that clear? This is page 30. Mazzaroth, in its Sabian origin, meant the stars, the fires of heaven. While Mesru, M-E-S-R-U, is the equivalent of the Hebrew Mitzar, plural Mitzra'im. Mest, M-E-S-T, is the birthplace, and Ru, R-U, the door, gate, mouth, or opening. Thus, Metzru, M-E-T-Z, R-U, is the outlet from that birthplace. He's a cute little boy. He wants my attention. He wants to play around. Okay, does everyone see this? So when man, who is thought made manifest from the soil, so this thought is entering the physical world through, as we just read, through Metzru, through Mest, M-E-S-T, which is the birthplace, the door, the gate, the mouth, or opening into the physical world. Okay? Metzru is the outlet from the birthplace, found in the constellation of the Great Bear, the Thigh. This is the Great Mother Hathor. This is the Great Mother Typhoon, and are called the matrix of the world. So this is the womb of the world. The womb of the world. So when man, who is of mentalism, the first law, the first Hermetic law is mind, mentalism. The first Hermetic law is mind, mentalism, and then the action, the function of the mind is thought. Okay? Thought. And whatever the means is, or whatever the mechanism is, the Hermetic law of gender is involved with that, who is the Great Mother. And the Great Mother, she gives birth to you and I. Genesis chapter 2, autochthonous Moors, or anything else that is physical. They all have either masculine or feminine mental energy, which is gender. And the womb, the matrix, the genetrix, is the thigh, the Great Bear. Does everyone see that? And we enter into the physical world by being clothed, man, sons with a womb, sons without a womb. We are then clothed in flesh through the soil. We are thought made manifest from the soil. Genesis chapter 2, verse 7. This is the mechanism of it. So this whole concept of Mazzaroth has been remixed. Mazzaroth, again, that belt, let me show you. So in the solar zodiac projection, this is the Mazzaroth. Okay, so here's the belt. Y'all see the belt, the old pathway mentioned in the Bible? This is the Maserat, the circular belt around which all of the constellations or zodiac signs are situated. Okay, this traces back to, or this is a remix of. Let me change hands. Hold on, can y'all see it? Hold on. So this is the Maserat. I'm gonna read the text again, okay? Let me get this situated. So this belt is the Maserat. Maserat in its Sabian origin, in other words, its original meaning in the circumpolar zodiac projection. Maserat in its Sabian origin meant the stars, the fires of heaven, quote unquote, the stars, the fires of heaven. While Mitzru is the equivalent of the Hebrew word Mitzar, and its plural form is Mitzrayim. Mest, M-E-S-T, is the birthplace, and the Ru, R-U, the door. So do y'all get it? The Hebrew Mitzar, it's the or which is plural Mitzrayim, which is Mest, which is Metzru. So Mitzrayim, Metz, is the birthplace, and Ru, the door, the gate, mouth, or opening. Thus, Metzru is the outlet from that birthplace, found in the constellation of the Great Bear, or the quote-unquote the thigh, and it's called the matrix of the world. Yes.
What's
This is the round, the circle, that's called Maserat. And these constellations, these are constellations in the sky. Stars in the sky.
Star.
Stars in the sky, yes, and that's how they're organized. When you look in the star and you see when you look in the sky and you see the lights, those are called stars.
The lights in plane.
Yes. Very good. Very good. Okay, so everyone sees that. So let's keep it going. I need to find the Hebrew. Oh, here we are. So page 32. Did I don't know if I don't remember if I showed y'all this. So here's the text that I just read. Pause it on the replay. I don't remember if I showed it to y'all. It's page 32. I'm sorry, page 30. Let's go to page 32. So here we are. Let me show it. So here we are. So remember, we're dealing with Sebek and Sebek Ra. Who is Sebek Ra? Who is Saturn? All right, so here we are. Let's read it. The Negroes, of course, this is a byword for the Moors, the autochthonous Moors, Genesis chapter 2, verse 7. The Negroes, the autochthonous Moors, were thought to be sons of the mythical Ham, who is Cam, a Hebrew derivative of the Egyptian god called Sebek Cronus. Do y'all see that? A Hebrew derivative of the Egyptian god called Sebek Cronus. So in other words, our ancestors knew, that we have our origin, our birthplace, that we originate, that we are celestial. As we just read on page 30. Okay, Sut is the firstborn son. Sebek Cronus again traces back to Sut. Okay? A Hebrew, so let's say it again, the Negroes who are in fact the Moors, the Moorish Americans, were thought to be sons of the mystical Ham, who is Cam, a Hebrew derivative of the Egyptian god called Sebek Cronus. A second phase of the son of the first mother. Remember, Sut. Y'all rewind the video if you want to know. I don't want to go back and So a second phase of the SON son of the first mother, that's Typhoon, who when he became planetary was Saturn. In other words, when they edited the story, when they changed the story and made Sut and Sebek Cronus, who are the same, they made him into a planet. This planet was Saturn, whose color, Saturn's color, is black. Astrologically, the planet Saturn is of the greatest importance to the Negro race today because it indicates a bridging over of a new condition and into an entirely new development, a new mindset, which has to do with Africa. Well, let's say which has to do with the Americas or the dominions of the Moroccan Empire. More accurately, the dominions of the Moroccan Empire. Astronomically, the polarity of Saturn must be repolarized in Africa and the dominions of the Moroccan Empire, for now, North America, by the Negro race, by the Moorish Americans. Do y'all see that? What is this saying? This means we need to return to the mindset of our ancient foremothers and forefathers, leave the solar zodiac projection and all these solar zodiac religion, all of these solar religions, and return to the mindset of our ancient foremothers and forefathers, which is reckoning time by the north, celestial pole regions, by the stars, okay, and following natural law, which is do no harm to yourself, don't injure yourself, and don't injure or harm anybody else, okay? All right. So hold on, y'all. I gotta move this music. Let me get my things. I don't want YouTube to have an excuse to take this video down. Hold on. So let me. Or how long have we been going? I didn't get anywhere. Hold on. Can y'all hear the music? Can you put a 1 in the comment section? Can y'all put a 1 in there if you hear music? Okay. So again, Aries is antagonistic to Saturn. So the solar zodiac projection and its supporters are antagonistic, are against the Sabian Moors. The hybrids are against the autochthonous Moors. It is antagonistic. It is Aries is antagonistic to Cyrus. The hybrids are antagonistic to the Moors. Okay? Saturn, who refers to Saturn, who is cold and forbidding. Do y'all see that? They're saying we're cold and forbidding. This is not true. It is a commanding sign of short or oblique ascension. It is fortunate, weak, and bitter. Wow. Well, I know some hybrids who are definitely fortunate, weak, and bitter. The reason why it was called a ram was first, we covered this last class, was first from the initial letters of the Persian words right, ascension, meridian, RAM, ram, thus ram. Secondly, because the SUN sun is therein, he approaches to its highest point. Okay, approaching the highest point, which is the summer solstice. Heat thereby being increased, yet being mixed with the humidity of the preceding winter. So in other words, you get the sun rising, producing more heat, okay? And all of that snow has melted and the moisture in the air. This is what he's talking about. Makes the temperature of the air hot and moist, which is according to the complexion of the ram. So the complexion of the ram, so this is implying that the ram is pink when you cut his skin off. But let's see. Also because it exalts Ra, which is right ascension, the sun god, Sebek Ra. Okay, Ra it exalts Ra. Ra is the sun god. The mason has to be exalted to become a ram, R-A-M. I think he's talking about Freemasons here. All right, so let me Google search, see what color the skin. What is the complexion of a ram's skin? So y'all remember that the color of Aries is red mixed with white. That's what we read in earlier, right? Earlier in this class. Okay, y'all, so red and white is pink, so there you have it. So you see the sheep? Shave its hair off, the skin is pink. Well, that makes total sense, right? Because the skin would need to be pink in order to get the sunlight from the sun, okay? Because the hair is so thick, it's gonna block the sun. So the animal, of course, needs the sunlight, so the skin is pink. Does everyone see that? Okay. Okay, y'all. So remember, keep in mind, the mindset of our ancient foremothers and forefathers also includes principles, the highest of which are love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. The southern celestial pole region is a region of principles that the more, when he's, the autochthonous more, Genesis chapter 2, verse 7, when he's standing up, erect on his feet are standing on principles. He's standing on natural law. See, those 5 principles are synonymous with do no harm. Don't injure anyone, including yourself. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Okay? And his head is the celestial North Pole. Right? According to C. M. Bay, Clock of Destiny, Volume 2, page 38. Okay? So the Great Mother, okay? The beginnings, time, records, cycles of time, okay? The origin of everything, the genetrix that we just read about. Okay? Wow. So we're dealing with Aries, we're dealing with a straight up hybrid. Pink. Pink skin. Y'all saw it. Y'all remember the color of Aries is pink mixed with red? Pink mixed with white? Red mixed with white. Why didn't they just say pink? I wonder if a sheep, you know what? I'm almost willing to bet that sheep is not a natural animal. I'm almost willing to bet that it's a hybrid. Can a sheep survive in the wild? I'm not sure. Maybe. Let me not speak. I'm not, but if I get time, I'm going to look. Maybe it's a domesticated sheep that can't survive in the wild. I don't know. So y'all, let's call it quits. Hold on. So Christ, the next paragraph, page 184. Christ is called a priest after the order of Melchizedek, or the Escheat son, on the first point of the, remember the cross, which is the four corners, north, south, east, and west. So the sun in the first point of the cross, or east gate, okay, or Aries, because the angle, which is the angel, is called by the ancients Melchizedek, so, or Melchizedek. Let me see, do I want to continue? So we're already 2 hours in. Oh, so yeah, we finished Aries, so yeah, let's stop here. We'll pick it back up on page 184. The next paragraph is dealing with Taurus. All right, dealing with Taurus. Taurus, isn't it interesting, y'all? Savic Ra, right? Ascension Meridian is said to be the original man. Wait, was it the original man? Hold on. Original. Hold on. Let me make sure my thought is together. I don't remember where I read that. I need to eat. I'm gonna let it go at that. We'll deal with it next time. Wait. This is on page 49. Kephesh as the constellation, making the circle of the pole, this is the North Pole, created the Garden of Eden, with the pole at the center as the tree of life. Y'all see that? The pole going from the north to the south celestial poles. This is the tree of life. This Eden was made the home of the biblical Adam and Eve, who in ancient mythology were represented by the constellation of the two bears. Adam, listen to this, y'all. Adam became one with Sevek. Sevek is soot. In this case, Sevek Cronus, but it's still soot, right? Adam became one with Sevek, the manifester of the 7 stars of the little bear. So Adam, the man, is Sevek, and he is the little bear, not the big bear, not the great bear, he's the little bear. This is the mindset of our ancient foremothers and forefathers. And Eve became one with Kepha, the manifester of the 7 stars of the great bear of early Sabian days. So Adam manifested the little bear, which is the little dipper, and Eve manifested the great bear today, which is the big dipper. Okay? So soot is remixed into Sevek, right? And then remixed into Adam. And Kepha, of course, is the Garden of Eden. Gets remixed into Eve. And Eve manifests the great bear. Y'all see that? This is the mindset of our ancient foremothers and forefathers. In other words, matriarchy. Matriarchy. See, the woman was more prominent. She made the great bear. And the great bear is the thigh. The great bear is the place of beginnings. Okay, y'all? These two were outcast. These two were the outcast gods. According to the story, right? Adam and Eve initially were gods, created to teach the Hermetic Laws, celestial phenomena, natural phenomena, and the natural law governing consciousness. These two, Adam and Eve, were the cast out gods of these constellations. So the god of the lesser bear is Adam. Adam was cast out. The god of the great bear, Eve. Eve was cast out. But were later recreated. Later remixed as human beings. We're on page 49 and 50. The fall, listen y'all, the fall was from the Sabian star to the lunar moon time. The fall of man. Y'all see this? The fall was from the Sabian star to the lunar moon time. So the fall began when our ancestors stopped reckoning time by the stars in the north, and of course the clock of destiny, circle 7. It descended into reckoning time by the moon. This was the fall of man, according to the Sabian Moors, our ancient forefathers and forefathers, not according to the fall of man in the solar zodiac projection. It's a different fall. We covered that, all right? So let me read it again, page 50. The fall was from the Sabian star, reckoning time by the stars rotating around the celestial North Pole. That would be circle 7 and the clock of destiny, Big Dipper and Ceres in the south, constellation Ceres in the south. So the fall was from the Sabian star to the lunar moon time, to a lower heaven called Adamah in Genesis, and not to earth. So the fall was to a lower heaven. Okay, so the moon is in a lower heaven. Okay, so if you look from earth, if you look up, you see the moon. That's a lower heaven. You need to look way higher up in elevation to see the Big Dipper. So this is the fall of man, according to the celestial ship of the north, which is the mindset of our ancient foremothers and forefathers. So we failed, we deviated from the mindset of our ancient foremothers and forefathers and started reckoning time by the moon, which is in a lower heaven, at a lower elevation. In other words, closer to the earth. And then we deviated even further by reckoning time by the sun sun. So there were two falls. Do y'all see that? All right. Wow, this is gonna get good, y'all. When we get, if y'all want to attend the classes, the Celestial Ship of the North classes, you need to subscribe to our YouTube channel called North. Okay, go to North and subscribe, because I'm only teaching the Celestial Ship of the North on North YouTube, our other channel, which is called North. Okay, on this channel, it's going to continue to be the astrology of the Old Testament, or the lost word regained, until we finish the book. And again, the lost word regained is the mindset of our ancient foremothers and forefathers, which is the thigh, which is the great mother Typhoon, okay, which is also called Hathor, which is also reckoning time by the stars, or stellar reckoning of time, okay, or also called the circumpolar zodiac projection. All of this is reckoning time, perceiving reality. Okay, this is the circle 7 and the clock of destiny. Islam to all the Moors, assalamu alaikum, shalom.